I'm Undersecretary Richard Moya from the Department of Budget and Management. I am the CIO, and later on, the transparency initiatives activities were attached to my office. The office was created precisely to push some innovations into the bureaucracy. There is a general clamor for good governance, so that's really the driving force for all of this. So open data, in some countries, it's efficiency. And we recognize that open data has benefits in efficiency. But in our particular case, the real benefit we're looking for is good governance first. In the Philippines, part of it is really as a reaction to corruption in the country. Specifically, data on public expenditure is the initial main driver of open data. And since we're in the Department of Budget and Management, and since we're handling all IT initiatives anyway, and we kind of exert some influence in some of the agencies, we said, why don't we start publishing financial data. The project name is Electronic Transparency and Accountability Initiatives for Lump Sum. Now let me explain lump sum. The way we budget it, we have line items in all the budget, but there's a portion of the budget where it's really just lump sum. These are Priority Development Assistance Fund, which is really congressional initiatives. These are items that the legislators would want the government to fund, so that's a lump sum. Another lump sum would be the calamity fund, because you wouldn't know when and how you would use that fund, so lump sum. For the longest time, these budgetary items are just lumped, and there's no transparency in how this is spent. Particularly interesting is how the legislators spend their allocated earmarked amount to them. There was this notion that some of the legislators are less than judicious in the use of these funds. And there were some rumors that some of them actually benefit from this fund other than the constituent. We said, why don't we start publishing financial data for the purpose of making budgeting and financial transactions transparent. The Electronic Transparency Initiatives for Lump Sum is an online portal that allows the public to see how people are spending lump sums in the budget. The project is really meant to expose budgetary information to the public, something that was not available to them before. That data includes the legislator in a district, the projects that he identified as part of his expenditure, and the amount of money that was spent there, and the date and time that this was released and approved. So what we did was simply port that data over to the web initially. And then we progressed to formatting that data to something that's easier for people to understand. After a year, we said, it's not enough that we publish this data. We want to hear what people want to say. So now in our website, in pdaf.dbm.gov.ph, we actually ask citizens to take photos or say something about what their legislators are claiming to be spending on. And if you allow them to take photos and upload it, effectively you have increased your auditors to almost all the population. 9 out of every 10 have Facebook accounts. So now there's that feature just recently launched that they can comment on it in Facebook. It's a very cheap medium to allow us to do audit of public transactions. If you are doing something new with an old structure, you can't expect that new thing to happen very quickly. Part of the learning of putting it up is to actually create the institutions that not just will build it, which actually is the easier part. The harder part is creating a structure to sustain it, that the data is actually given properly at the right time with the right formats. First, there was this belief that we're actually publishing the data. And then there was some cynicism that these are actually real data. And then they realized that this government was really honest in what it purported to do, good governance. For the first time, there was complete digital disclosure of very sensitive public expenditure. There were three general consumers. The first one's the press, which had a heyday just researching on all the expenditure. The civil society, which finally said, this is what we have been fighting for. Now that it's here, we want to take it a bit further. And the general populace, which actually helped us, when a rumor starts to come in, it's hard to squelch that rumor, and the best way to do that is actual factual data. So now they can go online and find that information there and verify it. It's really just initially transparency, not even accountability. Let's just publish it. You know, there's this story of Pandora's box. When you open it, you can't put it back. I think that's what happened to us. We started disclosing this sensitive financial information online, which led to greater demand for other things to now be disclosed. Whoever will come next, because it's a political cycle, I think the citizenry would always be now requiring and expecting the same amount of transparency to whoever will be appointed. You know, I've been in government for 2 years, 5 months. Prior to that, I was a private taxpayer. And I felt that as a private taxpayer, there should be a way for me to know where my taxes are being paid. And it's very important to me because for 2 years and 5 months, I was given that opportunity to make that happen. We were taught when we were growing up, you know, you don't have to be rich and famous, you just have to make a difference. So this is making a difference in a tangible, real way.